Passion public service announcement. Don't pray for discernment, then ignore what you've discerned. Don't ask for God to remove the scales from your eyes and then put on blinders because what you see is unsightly. Don't chase fool to catch wise. Okay? The same way someone would discourage me from looking and listening too deeply is the same way I implore you not to ignore the depth or intensity of what's being said, especially when you're getting that nagging in your spirit or those intrusive thoughts that you just can't seem to shake. Passion public service announcement. Passionate. Let me tell you something. Greetings and salutations, my beloved passionates, newcomers, visitors, and guests. Welcome to another episode of the Passion PSA podcast, where I, Passion No Last Necessary, your Get You Right Guru, issue a weekly public service announcement about whatever I have observed or was on my mind. This is a for your consideration zone where the objective is to offer you a perspective you may not have previously considered to A, expand your thinking, and B, aid you in becoming a better version of yourself, for yourself, and for others. This is a safe space, but not necessarily a delicate one. I'll never rob you of your right to feel what you feel. Same way I won't sugarcoat the truth to make it more palatable. The goal is to get you to higher, more expanded thinking so that you can operate as your highest and best self. If you're new here, affirmations are our first order of business so that we can intentionally raise the vibration and start on one accord. Let's get on the same frequency. If you're ready, go ahead, take a deep breath. You are always welcome to repeat after me or to use this time to state your own affirmations. Transparency is safe. Truth is safe. My story is mine. It's okay to tell it. It is safe to tell it. There is triumph in tragedy. I am grateful. I am loved. I am well. All is well. Well is all. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So passionates, I'm back. I thought I would be able to have an episode for you last week while I was traveling, but things have been a lot all over the place, and I wasn't able to churn it out the way I wanted to. The good news is that I'm back and I'm ready to resume our weekly self-work. Okay. Every season I have a moment of introspection, and this season it came earlier than expected. If you don't follow me on the gram, pause this episode, or if you're on your phone, toggle over and go follow right now at They Call Me Passion. That's my main page, okay? You can also follow at Passion PSA Podcast, but if you want to keep up with all things Passion No Last Necessary, me, at They Call Me Passion on Instagram and on TikTok. That's how you find me. And on Facebook, you can find me as Passion No Last Necessary. No Last Necessary is all one word, okay? Those of you who follow me on the gram know that I fell down and I bumped my life, which resulted in a very bad boo-boo. For those of you who don't, or who didn't until now, this is the sped up version.
So yes, I fell, and when I came home, it looked bad, but it didn't look that bad. It looked like this.
30 minutes later, though, it looked like this.
When I woke up, my eye looked like this.
So this is actually a little after I woke up, but this first picture is my eyes regularly open, and this one is me actually stretching my eyes to open them in wide.
And then as the day progressed, this is what it looked like. And so I went to the urgent care, and I'm fairly certain the girl at the desk really thought that I was lying about falling and really thought it was DV, because she was definitely looking at me like. They did x-rays, no broken bones, no fractures. They did a dye test. They didn't see anything in my eye, but because of the sensitivity to light and because of the discomfort, they said that they thought I should go to the ER, which I did, which y'all know. I went to the ER, and they also did a dye test. The light in the ER was pretty much merciless. They did a CT scan, and with the CT scan, again, they found nothing. They gave me 2 scripts. They started me on it before I left the ER, but they also scheduled me for a 10 a.m. appointment at the ophthalmologist. I went to the ophthalmologist, but this is also happening at like 2 something. So by the time I get home and get in my bed after 3, I'm only getting a few minutes of sleep before I have to go back out into Armageddon because the rain was crazy. Went to the ophthalmologist. I'm fairly certain the ophthalmologist thought I was a kidnap victim because he definitely asked me why I was sitting in my trunk. I definitely didn't say I was sitting in my trunk. I was sitting on my trunk. Apparently, that's a foreign concept to him, but whatever. They didn't find anything. They also did a dye test. They didn't see any scratches. They did a whole bunch of other tests. She put me in this contraption, and that was it. So as it stands, I'm currently out here looking like Forrest Whitaker. I have the sunglasses on because the light sometimes is still uncomfortable. It depends. And some actually is looking, wait, come on, improvement, because it wasn't looking this good a minute ago. Let me keep these sunglasses on. Maybe that's helping. But yeah, so the process is slow, but it's advancing. And in the meantime, I just have to kind of ride it out. So they didn't find anything. Nothing is broken. There's no internal damage that they were able to see. And yeah, so that's it.
So my eye was swollen shut. I had light sensitivity even through my eyelid. I had sharp pains depending what direction I shifted my eye and how quickly. And as I stated, I look like Forrest Whitaker. Before I went to urgent care, I was on the phone with my cousin and I was telling her that I was supposed to be re-recording episode 3 because of the sound. But I didn't want to do it looking crazy. And she was like, well, just give us the audio. The Passionates will understand, or wear sunglasses. And we got a good laugh out of that. And it was an idea, and a viable one at that. But specifically, with the YouTube version of this pod, people are expecting a video of me looking like Max Headroom. If you don't know the reference, look it up. They aren't coming to watch waveforms or an audiogram. And while I respected that, I didn't feel comfortable being seen as I was. I wasn't ready for the interrogation and the speculation, and I wasn't ready to volunteer anything either. But us not being ready to divulge something will not stave off people's curiosity or insistence on knowing. Write that down. Is that why I chose to do an episode on it? No. Sometimes the experience that you have creates a testimony that requires reiteration because you know that the message will reach different people in different places at different times, but it'll reach everybody who's supposed to hear it at their appointed time. I sign every episode off, see you later. And I've explained to you before that I'm not actually saying later as in time frame, but that later is an acronym which stands for live, learn, apply, teach, repeat. Every one of our experiences, no matter how hurtful or embarrassing, is a teaching tool. Someone can learn from it. Now, whether they do or they don't, that's up to them. But the lesson is available nonetheless, okay? And that embarrassment or fear of judgment is what most often entreats us to try to hide our stories or package them in a way that allows us to feel protected. But the more we try to hide a thing, or the more we try to discuss something as vaguely as possible, the more people want to know what we're trying to hide and why. So why would I try to hide the injury? Okay, vanity aside, because y'all know how I feel about some beauty. Because questions for which you legitimately have no answers are extremely uncomfortable. There is a level of indignity in transparency that most of us don't want to deal with. What happened? I fell. Where? When? How? The how was the craziest part because I had no answer. I don't remember what caused me to fall. That's the truth. I don't know if I leaned too far forward, if I tripped, if I lost my balance. I don't know. Okay? I told my other cousin that, and she gave me that look like I was lying. And when someone looks at you like you're lying and you're actually being deceitful, often your priority is to maintain your cool so you don't get caught in the lie. But when you're being truthful and your integrity is being questioned, it can make you feel away. It can make you feel a way about the situation. It can make you feel a way about the person to whom you're speaking or in whom you're confiding. Or it can make you feel a way about yourself. And if being judged on a small scale can have that much impact, what more to get on a public platform for other people to look at you questioningly and talk amongst themselves speculatively? Who wants to go through that? But all of this comes with the territory, especially when you volunteer to be in the public eye. People feel entitled to your story and to their opinion of it. They feel entitled to their edits. They feel entitled to share their opinion and even often feel entitled to you listening to it. Now imagine dealing with physical distress, mental distress, emotional distress, spiritual distress, and multiple somebodies coming with their judgments and whispers and opinions and side eyes and snickers, smirks, and pity. And then imagine having to put all of that in your pocket and smile for the camera like it's not impacting you multiple ways at the same time. Hollyweird has shown us more times than a few, yes, I did say Hollyweird, that there will never be a paycheck high enough to escape the trauma. So why do an episode on something so exposing and revealing and traumatizing? Why keep talking about it, especially if my eyes pretty much fully restored itself to looking like nothing happened? Because healing is revealing. Write that down. Healing is revealing. In order to heal, you're going to have to reveal some things. Now, the question is, to whom are you revealing these things? And often we're uncovering unrecognized, unfamiliar, uncomfortable truths about ourselves that we either never knew or never believed, and the to whom is to us. And the wilder part about that is often we don't want to be exposed, but the only person that doesn't know about the thing is us. So we out here thinking that we are presenting one way. Whole time, we're the last ones to find out that we're an entire mess and everyone been knew. So the people we don't want to find out, They're sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out when we're going to get the memo. Why else talk about it? So with everything going on, I got to ride home that night, which meant I needed to get my car the next day. The first person I spoke to said they couldn't take me because they weren't going in that direction. And I'm not going to hold you. That made me feel a way. Okay? All caps, bold, italicized, underline, outline, 72-point font. A way. Like, yeah, it's an inconvenience to take me where I need to go, but also it's an inconvenience to be half blind. Like, I'm not asking you to restore my sight. I'm just trying to get a ride to my ride. But there was a message there, right? You can't measure what someone else should do by what you would do. Write that down. Just because you would move heaven and earth for the next person doesn't mean you can expect them to do the same for you. And that is incensing to some, right? You're supposed to treat people how you want to be treated. I would have called in late or called out if necessary. I would have done whatever was required to ensure that my friend was able to maneuver. So why, when it's my turn, I get some ashy, oh, that's out my way, but good luck and God bless. That's how you feel in that moment. And honestly, for many moments thereafter. But this is where we have to remind ourselves that karma, grace, favor, they aren't tit for tat or this good deed for the same good deed in kind. Treat people right in general so that when we find ourselves in time of need, our karmic bank is full of the good energy we've given so we can expect that good energy in return, period. Not necessarily from the person from whom we'd expect it or desire it. Because really and truly, when you're in need, you really don't care what source will meet your need so long as the need is met. We also learn in instances like this that some of the crazy things that happen to us happen to expose other people's character. Everyone that claims to have your back or you think has your back, baby, let the right circumstances present themselves. And you're going to see just how far back some people will fall. But if you can get out of your feelings for a minute, you can really see how well it worked out for you. In my case, it would have been a hardship for person A to take me, which means if they had, they more than likely wouldn't have been willing or available to help me with much more. Person B, who ultimately did take me, while I had to wait for them to be available, they didn't count it robbery to rearrange their schedule to help me in a time of need. Instead, they came up with multiple support strategies. You want to get the car and then go to urgent care, or you want to go to urgent care and then go get the car? We went to urgent care first because the discomfort was increasing and it was looking worse and worse. Urgent care said, okay, well, next stop is ER. Person B didn't just take me to go get my car and peel off. They were like, okay, so we'll get your car. I'll follow you so you can drop it off, and then we can proceed from there. I'll take you to the ER. I never dropped my car off. Whole other story. But B still didn't say, all right, well, you got your wheels and I don't do hospitals, so stay black and stay blessed. B was like, I'm not about to leave you here, so we're just going to thug our way through. Now, let's get back to being in my bag because person A didn't give me a lift. A couldn't give me 30 minutes. B gave me the remainder of their day and pushed through extreme anxiety to do so. So remind me again, which was the better setup? Which was more needed? Sometimes we're so busy being upset about what we didn't get, we rob ourselves of appreciating what we did get. That lack of gratitude will then preclude us from future favor that could be afforded to us because we didn't appreciate what we did get, when in actuality, we could have absolutely gotten nothing. What else did this teach me? Person A said they couldn't take me to get the car because they weren't going in that direction. Passionate. That statement in that moment was about going in the direction where my vehicle was parked. However, that statement was also very telling of our relationship in general. I can't take you where you need to go because I'm not going in that direction. Somebody just shouted because they got it. Sometimes we want more from people than they're capable of. More times we charge it to desire. They just don't want to. We talked about that in the last episode, right? But you see how themes recur in our lives? A said, I can't take you where you're going because I'm not going in that direction. And baby, truer words were never spoken. More than a simple statement about a ride, that was really the summation of our relationship. We so often feel like because they were there or because they've been there, that they're going to continue to be there. But sometimes they can't take you where you need to go because they're not going in that direction. Does that mean y'all still won't end up in the same place? No. It could mean y'all won't ever be in the same place at the same time again. It could mean you'll always end up in the same place. You'll always be there together, but you'll never get there together. They could wholeheartedly want to go in whatever direction you're going in, but the stop they have scheduled is required before they can go where you need to, but you can't wait. Didn't we talk about that last season? There are so many extrapolations from that statement, and while one person is like, yo, I never even considered all of that. The next person is like, you're reading way too much into it. They probably just had something else to do, and you taking you where you needed to go would have taken them out of their way, like relax. And the latter opinion could be it. But Passion public service announcement. Don't pray for discernment, then ignore what you've discerned. Don't ask for God to remove the scales from your eyes and then put on blinders because what you see is unsightly. Don't chase fool to catch wise. Okay? The same way someone would discourage me from looking and listening too deeply is the same way I implore you not to ignore the depth or intensity of what's being said, especially when you're getting that nagging in your spirit or those intrusive thoughts that you just can't seem to shake. And then sometimes people really want to be available and they really want to come through for you, but this isn't their place to shine. Maybe A's setup lined up the way it did because it was for me and B to go on this journey together. Maybe this incident was to strengthen me and B's relationship. Whatever hasn't been revealed yet will be. What did Maddie teach us? Whatever doesn't come out in the wash will come out in the rinse. Passion, is this whole experience from injury to improvement hasn't been completely traumatic, but it's been extremely emotionally exhausting. There was no physical damage that the doctors found, but baby, my mind and my spirit, they have been through the ringer, okay? Every if, what if, and what about has walked through my head more times than I care to count. And for every revelation and confirmation, every up and every down, all I can do is be grateful that it wasn't fatal. It was life-altering, but I didn't lose my sight, my mind, or my life. There, but for the grace of God. Anyway, there have been many passion points today, but I'm going to leave you with these three, and I do encourage you to double back and extract and write down any others that you haven't already. Passion point number 1, you can hide from indignity, but you can't hide from the truth. And the shame decreases commensurately with your willingness to stand in truth. If the truth is you played yourself, believe it or not, there is power in being able to say, I definitely played myself. When you say it first, the 10 people saying it after you just look like they pressed to throw stones. I've already stated I played myself, which means I'm aware I played myself. So you now saying I played myself is adding what to the conversation? How is it bettering or improving anyone or anything? Passion point number 2, and this could also be considered an addendum to the first point. People will judge you for lying, and sometimes they'll judge you even more harshly for telling the truth if they don't believe the truth you're telling. That's not your undertaking. If you know you're operating in integrity, you know you're telling the truth, you know you're being transparent, and people are creating their own veil through which to see you, that's a choice they're making, but not a job you have to fill out an I-9 or a W-2 for, okay? Passion point number 3, you don't have to make up a lie because people don't believe your truth. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Sometimes what happened is so hard to believe, the person it happened to and any other witnesses wouldn't believe it if they weren't there. And that still doesn't make it false. You don't have to create a narrative people can believe. Reality is, they're going to believe whatever version of events they want to regardless. You hear the drop, so you know what it is. Are you familiar with the term confabulate? The psychiatry definition is to fabricate imaginary experiences as compensation for loss of memory. You know those friends that can always vividly recount exactly what happened, verbatim? A lot of them are filling in the gaps with whatever they've dreamed up. And you know when you're going to realize that? When you're listening to them tell a story about something you were there for, and it's very different from how you remember it because their account is very different from what actually happened. Passion point number 4. The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That doesn't mean they will. It means that's how you'd like to be treated. And if they don't do right by you, don't immediately devolve and regress and start treating other people bad because someone or multiple people have been whack to you. Some people are just inherently whack. More people are damaged and acting out. So you act better. Passion point number 5. If you feel like a situation has shown you something important about someone, don't bury your head in the sand because you don't want to believe it. Revelation can spare you a lot of distress on the back end if you heed the herald. Kiana, thank you for being ready and willing to ride in the middle of the night when I called you screaming and convinced I was going blind. Thank you for being willing to rearrange your life and even being willing to risk an anxiety attack so I didn't have to navigate waiting rooms by myself. Thank you for being willing to drive and walk mad far with me in the rain, in the dark. Thank you for being my friend. Passion is, if you have friends like this, let them know you appreciate them. And if you don't, it's time to make some adjustments to your circle. If you got some value from this, drop some megaphones or leave a comment below. Donations can be made via Linktree, PayPal, Podbean, or Zelle. Links are in the description box. Listener letters can be sent to greetings@whatonewomandoes.com. And I think that's all I have to say today. Go forth, be great, be filled with bliss, be armed and empowered with knowledge. Don't be afraid to tell your story because people are going to judge you anyway. Learn from your living and look deeper so that in all you get inner standing. In all things, be passionate. See you later.